evening, good evening, good evening, good morning. Good evening, Mike. How you doing? Happy Saturday night to you. Hey, Daniel. You're quick off the mark today. How are you? I didn't make any pipes, but I did revisit 2 pipes, which I'm going to show soon. There have been pipes which I've had for a while, and they just needed a little bit of touching up. Grab a bit of a coffee. That is good. I'm thinking tonight I might actually have a Latakia blend. I haven't had one in yonks, but I might actually go for one tonight. I mentioned the other day, on Friday I think it was, I'm not enjoying my tobaccos as much as I usually do. They're just not doing it for me, and I don't know what it is. It's kind of why I've been going on that Oriental exploration, and so far that hasn't really been rewarding. So I'm not sure that Orientals are the answer for me. And I think the answer is really a mixture. Classic English mixture. I just need to find one which is rich enough without being too heavy on the Latakia side, but still nice and full. And really, a blend that fits the bill is Northwoods, but it's got Latakia in it. But the Latakia in Northwoods is actually, by the time you get down the bowl, it is quite heavy. I've got 3 vintages of Northwood. This is the oldest one, which is from January 2018, and there's still probably a good 8 ounces in there. Then I've got this one from October 18, and finally, I don't remember how many ounces in this one. This is a big old fella, and this is from December 2019. There's probably 8 ounces in there as well. So I've probably got a pound-ish flying around, but I've deliberately sort of bought some every so often, so that I've got it at different ages, so that as I finish one age, so this one, once this finishes, the other one will already be a couple of years old. And there's no doubt about it, Latakia definitely ages well. Hey Mike, Gamecock, how you doing? Josh? Yeah, I have smoked a couple of cigars in the last week or two, Daniel. That's a fairly good suggestion. But even those haven't been what I'm used to. I've actually got a feeling that this COVID-19 has given me a bit of a lasting, has so far still, it's had an effect. I don't know, I hope it's not permanent, but it certainly has an effect on my palate. Hey Carl, how you doing? Daniel, do you want to get blocked? Lakeland, are you having a laugh? How's the workshop coming on, Carl? Or the den? Daniel, so close, that's good. When's the gore happening? You did say you were doing one, didn't you? I think you mentioned it to me once before. You got 500. Nice, congratulations. You could have said aromatics, Daniel, because I've been smoking aromatics quite a lot lately. I mean, you will know that I'm smoking the hell out of this stuff. The Solani. This is nearly finished as well as tin number 2. Go tomorrow, nice, Carl. Look forward to that. I don't smoke the cult tobacco very much anymore, I must be honest. Occasionally, as I say, the cult Blood Red Moon, maybe a handful of times a year, if that, maybe 2 or 3 times a year. Hey Suffolk, how you doing? I tend to, as part of my religion, there are fast days when we don't eat or drink for 25 hours, something like that. So on those days, I sometimes smoke Blood Red Moon because it's sweet, it's tasty, and it's not going to bother other people too much. Bus Hog, how you doing? So I'm taking out the lump of coal. I haven't smoked this in a long, long time because I've not been smoking Latakia blends. But we're going to give some Northwoods a go tonight. I'm just hankering after something rich and full. Hey Paul, how are you? Exactly, Josh. Daniel, you're going the right way for a smart bottom. Whereabouts are you, Paul? Which area of the... Are you in London, aren't you? Yeah, unfortunately people are going a bit loopy at the moment. Hey, Rockin' Steady, how you doing? Islington. You probably got... Are any of the bars open? I hope not. I would imagine not around Islington. Nothing must be open. Actually, no, this is staining, which went through my gloves. I was wearing gloves. And I'll show you a couple of pipes which I revisited this evening. Right, where's my Peterson lighter? There we go. Except, where's my gas? I guess we'll have to start a new can. Oh, that's bad news, Paul. Painting and stabbing of, oh, I don't know. The ghouls are coming out. I don't know. People are getting fed up. They can't do their regular Saturday night release of energy. Don't know what it is. Crazy times indeed. What I find a pain is that you don't have any kind of visual indication of how much gas is left in these kind of lighters. Lady Latakia. No, it's a Peterson lighter. Thoughts on the Peterson lighter? Well, this is number 3 of these lighters for me. 2 of them have worked their way loose and basically fell apart. This top plate here has a screw, Don't know if you can see it. There it is. You can see that little screw there in the middle. And on those ones I had to tighten them up every so often, and eventually the tightening didn't help and this whole top plate came off. Sent it back and they sent me another one. It happened again a few months later. I don't think they even asked me to send it back, they just sent me a replacement. And this third one's been okay. I don't know if they've improved it at all. My guess is that they haven't, but I've just been more careful. I haven't let this out of the house. I don't take this with me. I used to keep it in my pocket all the time, and this one just stays on my desk. And this is my daily carry, the ever reliable Zippo. Oh wow, that sounds good, Josh. If you can keep it going at a nice steady rate, that's great. If you get the flavour continuing all the way through, that's nirvana. Well, some of the special edition DuPont ones probably will go for that kind of money. The star stamping, Daniel, has been going okay. At the moment, I've only stamped up to 2. I never expected that I would be, but sort of grading pipes. But so far, I've kind of allowed myself to stamp a few pipes with 2 stars. The vast majority are 1 star, and any pipes which I'm not happy with, but still sell as a second, get an X. So the vast majority will be a single star. Wildcat 77. I think it all started with the Wildcat 77. Didn't you buy pipe number 1? It wasn't you. I can't remember who it was then. I know you bought the 77. .38 as well. Cool. Just a second, folks. I'm glad to hear that, Sam. Just bear with me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry. Someone grab that pipe and It's been a while since I've smoked this one, and it's been a while since I've smoked some Northwoods, and it's tasting pretty good. Sorry about that. Are you all back on now? Cool. I think Mike was having problems the other night as well. Alright, so let me show you some couple of the pipes that I was working on tonight. Oh, sorry, Daniel. Yeah, sorry, I was in the middle of talking about your question. So in terms of the stars, ciao Sandro, how are you doing? So basically, I have talked about the ratings before, but I'm not making my ratings, hey Boris, complicated. Any pipe that I'm happy to sell will get at least a 1-star rating. So as long as it's not being sold as a seconds, it will get a 1-star rating. So every pipe should have at least a one star. And if it's less than that, it'll get an X. If for any reason I'm unhappy with it, it may not even have a fault or a flaw. I may just not be happy with it for whatever reason. And hopefully there won't be that many of those, because I tend to revisit pipes that I'm not happy with. And I tend to just crack on and keep going until I'm happy with the pipe. A good example is this one here, which you've all seen, I'm sure. Is this pipe here, which I redid. That was an apple shape before, and now I guess it's like half an egg. And basically I smoothed it out, took the stain off, and yeah, it is a bit of a pickaxe actually, yeah. And it just looks a lot more balanced, it just looks a lot better. And I've now actually contacted another pipe maker, hopefully. I've contacted a few pipe makers, hopefully I'll be getting this one sandblasted soon. It's got some great cross grain, which you can just about make out all the going across those wavy lines, the slightly darker shades. That will make some fantastic, hopefully, it goes a bit wavy here, but hopefully we'll get some nice sandblasting, nice and craggy. A shame, because I've actually really sanded this to a lovely smooth finish, but at the same time I'm really excited to be able to have a sandblasted pipe, which will be for sale hopefully, unless I get totally in love with it. So to continue Daniel's question, so what makes it a 1-star pipe? So as I said, every pipe should get at least a 1-star pipe, and if it's lower than that, it will get an X. A 2-star pipe will be a pipe that for some reason makes me feel delighted with the pipe. Obviously I'm happy with all the pipes. It won't get a single star unless I'm really happy with it. But a pipe which is exceptional, it may be because of the overall balance of the pipe, that the shaping I feel has come out better than any other pipe, or most of the other pipes that I've done, or the briar is particularly cleaner than other pipes that I generally do. Something exceptional about the pipe which makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside. That one will get a 2-star. So many other sort of pipe makers will have particular criteria, what makes their particular nomenclature on their pipes. So for me, I think over time, obviously I'm really only just starting now, so over time I think it will become my particular critical eye will become apparent over time, as you'll see the difference between 1 and 2-star pipes. So far I think I've stamped maybe 3 pipes with 2 stars. Hey Tony. I've started keeping a record of the pipes as they get sold. I think I need to update that with a couple of those just to show how many stars they've gotten. Probably a good thing to do, so that there's an accurate record of which pipes got what. Now, I wouldn't say Class A or Class B, but every most of the companies out there or carvers out there have some form of grading. It may not be a number, it may just be a model, like for instance with with Savinelli, you might get an autograph grade, or you might get whichever. They've got lots of different grades. Savinelli, it's hard to keep track, but they've all got their own kind of way of categorizing their pipes. Castello's got loads of different KK, 4Ks, so many different ones. You just can't keep track of them. My pre-smoked pipes that I sell, the ones that I've made, theoretically, yeah, they could get a star. I don't see why not. I don't have a formal record of my early pipes, no, but they are on IG and Facebook. IG is probably going to be the best place. I keep telling myself that I'm going to put together a record. Josh told me already a while ago that I should be doing that, and he's right. So I may well maybe create a specific Instagram page just with the numbers, in as best order that I can do. I probably won't be able to get them literally from number one all the way through, although theoretically that should be possible. They're all out there somewhere, online somewhere. Yeah, it would be. There is a website underway. It's a bit slow going because I just haven't had the time to sit down with the designer. Good night, Suffolk. Thanks very much for joining. Good choice there, Wildcat. So once the website is up and running, I'll probably have a separate listing of all my pipes as an archive, as a gallery. And it would be nice to be able to do it in some kind of numerical order. Hey Serkan. Hey Armchair. So what's everybody smoking tonight? I'm smoking some Northwoods from 2018, January 2018. I haven't had Northwoods for a good while now, and it's really tasting very nice. I'm taking it slow, I'm sipping it, because I do find that if I really chug away at it, it does get a little bit too much in my mouth. So I'm just sipping it, and it's really good. Enjoying it. I hope, Daniel, that there will come a time. Hey Brandon, good. So happy. Another one loading up OGS. Good for you guys. I hope in time that, I hope that Mike will carry my pipes. I'm very close to sending a bunch to GQ Tobaccos. I've got a drawer full of pipes here, all in bags to stop them from getting scratched. This one's actually sold. Some of these pipes, because I don't have a proper medium for showing them, you might think that they were sold already. But a lot of them are still available. Black X, I don't think I've tried that. Brown flake in the LCS. So we've got 3 or 4 people smoking one of my pipes, which is really, really cool. Thank you guys, I appreciate that. I'm smoking one of mine tonight as well. Buzzwell's best. I think I've got a few crumbs of that left somewhere. Yeah, Black X is strong. Hall of the Wind. I have tried that. I believe Tim, Wolf Valley Boy, sent me some of that a while back. I didn't really get much out of it. Armchair Piper, Ling 1Q, nice. You know what, I'm still not sure if I've ever tried that. It's such a ubiquitous tobacco, but I don't think I've tried it. You're an old codger, are you, Armchair? Smoking number 100. Oh, wow. Cool. Well, there you go, everybody. Tony's the guy who got pipe number 100. Some amazing grain on that pipe. Absolutely stunning grain, especially the bird's eye. Hey, WV. I actually went out and not went out, but I ordered on Amazon a transformer converter so it would work here in the UK, because I thought that was the problem, which I don't think it was, but it keeps fusing. I'm not sure if I've wired it up wrong or if there's some kind of fault, but I received the converter today actually. I actually meant to mention it before. I received the converter today, plugged it in, spins for a second and then fuses. And I've already used up about 3 different fuses now in the plug. So I'm not really sure. I might have to get it to an electrician at some point. Serkan, you smoking a Cuban cigar sometimes in a pipe? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Do that often. A little shop? What do you mean, Paul? Out of the pipes that I've made recently, which ones do I like best? Well, I think that the one which, to me, is exceptional is this this pipe here. I think it's an exceptional pipe. It's really nice and clean. It's got lovely grain which is visible without any staining. And this palm edition, it looks amazing. It's like almost looks like leopard print on the side, but it's got this kind of effect on that side. It's just unbelievable. This is wood. Can you believe that? It's not plastic. It's not acrylic. That is wood. A big pipe. I mean, that's probably a 20 mil, so that's probably even wider. That looks like it's probably about 22 mil. So it's a really big pipe, and it's very well balanced. And this bit here, kind of, the idea of it is to sort of almost look like it flows on from the stem. And yeah, this one will definitely be a 2-star once it sells, or if it goes off to a shop. So I'm very happy with that pipe. And in fact, a lot of the recent chubby Rhodesians, they started off from a commission that I did a few weeks ago, and somebody ordered. He wanted to kind of capture the custom built kind of idea, but in a modern way. I don't know if you guys remember that pipe. Let me just see if I can get a picture on the screen. Hey, Chad. And that pipe, my pipes become available generally, Serkan, on my YouTube channel, which is London Calling with Simon. And all you really need to do, if you see a pipe that you like, you just email me and we work it out. Where is that pipe? Oh, here it is. So this was the pipe which really started this shape off for me. Wrong one. So this one really worked out very well. It was a commission, and the buyer was absolutely delighted with it. So the idea of this one, as I said, was to try and capture the heftiness of a custom-built pipe, but with a modern twist. And I thought I did okay. I was really happy with it. And that kind of spurred, it kind of inspired all the recent Rhodesians that I've done. So also, a couple of pipes that they pretty much sold straight away, which also I've been very, very happy with. And this one, it really was very time consuming, but it's a gorgeous pipe. It sold immediately. This pipe here with an olive wood adornment with a faded stain. Some really lovely grain there. With a contrasting brighter this one is sold, Serkan. That one's gone. But my pipes usually range from around £140 to 180. They can be less, they can be more, but usually it's between 140 and 180 pounds. This one is also sold. This is one of this is kind of the shape which was spawned by that first custom built idea. So that was like a smaller version. And after that, I did the most recent one, which I can't seem to see at the moment. Oh, there it is, right in front of me. Just put that one back in the bag before I get a ding on it. And this was the most recent version of it, and this one got a lot of interest, but it also sold. In terms of the grain, this one really didn't have a huge amount of interest on the grain, and the best part really was this straight grain here, so I kept it for the rim so that the rest would be rusticated. Gave it a double ring and also a ledge here on the top. A German silver ring and an acrylic Cumberland stem. Drilling dead center. Yeah, this one with a cap definitely got a lot of interest, so I guess it would make sense to make more of these. I really do like them because they've got a nice little, very comfortable sort of balance to them. Can you inlay silver? I don't see why you can't. I mean, I can't, but I don't see why it can't be done. I mentioned before a while back that I do have something in the pipeline, excuse the pun, which will identify my pipes, besides for the stamps. So you know, like you have the white spot for Dunhill and the white bar for Castello. Well, I've got something in the pipeline which I don't know yet if it's going to happen, so I'm not going to say what it is yet. But if it does work out, I think it'll be quite cool. It will add a little bit of cost to the pipe because it will have something precious there, but we'll see if it happens. Yeah, Boris, it could be. You never know. I mean, I don't yet have a trademark pipe, I don't think. It's very possible, Josh. Anything's possible. Earlier on, it was a little bit higgledy piggledy. You can do wildcat if you want. That's a nice pipe, Chad. You've smoked the heck out of it, as you do with all your pipes. I see you did an interview, was it last night, with Mike? I'm going to have to listen back to that one. Hey Vision, how you doing? Did you have a good time? I don't know, Daniel. Yeah, I mean, he mentioned to me in one of the messages that he'd have to get me on there sometime, but Friday night is a problem for me, as you know. It's my Sabbath, so I'm not sure. So unless he does one on a different night for me, it's not going to happen. Thank you, Paul. As I say, Boris, it's possible. I think I'm still really in an evolutionary stage. I'm learning all the time, and as you can see with that particular Rhodesian, it was spawned by that custom built Rhodesian, and it may well be that it'll happen again with another pipe. So it seems to be quite popular, that kind of size, the chubby, stubby kind of size. Um, I don't like making them too stubby because I find that really short pipes, they smoke a little bit warm because there's no travel time for the smoke. Hey Meeks, when I make a pipe, ultimately I'm making a pipe which I want to smoke and which I want to look at. So it's got to be made well internally and it's got to look good as well. So that's how I work. I work generally, unless it's a commission, I make pipes that I would like to smoke. And obviously, in that way, you kind of create a style of yours, of your own. But the ones which are really short, I can't remember what they're called. I think Alpasia have them. They're very short, stubby pipes. To me, they're just a little bit too short. You've got an upcoming show, Chad? Yeah, I can't remember what they're called. Those stubby nose warmers. Hey, Glenn. An Oompal. I haven't made one yet. No. That's interesting because I mean I've tried reverse calabash pipes before myself, before I started making pipes, and I never found them to be really of any use. But that was just me. I had a couple of the Dagner reverse calabash pipes. Has anybody heard or seen anything of the Dagners? Don't see much about them. Are they still selling pipes? Are they still making pipes? I have made Canadian shapes, Daniel, before, early on. Oh, nice, Chad. Yeah, I'd be honoured to take part. I must say, this Northwoods is tasting wonderful. They put vids up? Hardly ever. It's usually just of Jason on his skateboard. Not much tobacco pipe related stuff, I don't think, in recent, in the last year or so. Hardly anything. I mean, hopefully it means that they're busy and they haven't got the time. Anyway, so let me show you the pipes that I've updated tonight. It's already been an hour. Well, it's almost an hour. I started a bit late. Briar rest pipe. What do you think? How day? I'm sorry, Serkan, but your Google translation, if that's what you're using, is a little bit unclear. I'm not really sure what you're saying there. It looks, by looking at your name, are you from Turkey, Serkan? Or that region? This Northwoods really is tasting good. Maybe that's what I've been missing. All right. Okay, so you guys may remember these pipes. I'll just show you, giving them an update. So this is, if you guys remember, this is the first band I ever put on a pipe. This is an acrylic band. And so what I've done is just given it a darker stain. It's really nicely drilled. It's got some nice bird's eye on the rim there. I made this pipe quite some time ago. It's got some lovely grain. I just really wanted to highlight it more. And some nice bird's eye there on the heel. And it really just, as I say, it really just highlights the grain. This is a slightly richer, darker grain than I've been doing recently, but it just made sense on this pipe. And I may well smoke this one myself. It's a really, I mean, if somebody particularly wants it, I'll sell it, but it's a nice small bowl, perfect for a short smoke. That'll probably go for about half an hour or so. And just the colouring, I think it works better than it did before, because this is obviously a really high contrast in terms of the colouring, but beforehand it was kind of in betwixt and between. The best way to rest a pipe? Well, that you could just sit it down on the table. There's no particular way, but what I don't agree with is you do see a lot of collectors and they put it in their pipe stand. They put it in their pipe stand like that, and I think that's a mistake, because whatever's left in the pipe is going to be running down into your stem and make it all horrible and rank. So I would always say store your pipe up like that. When you've just smoked it, I'll be honest, I don't really do that so much anymore, but I used to, is obviously clean out the shank, bend it in half, and then just do that to just gently get rid of any surplus gook that's left behind. And if you want to be really, really efficient, put a clean pipe cleaner in and make sure that it comes right through, which it won't do on this one because of the filter. So you can see it in there, and just leave that in your stand like that overnight so that it absorbs whatever's in there, but not longer than overnight. Then withdraw it, and then air can make a circular path through the pipe and just continuously dry it out efficiently. But I would say that if you want to do things properly, clean it out, leave another fresh clean in there overnight, and then take it out, and then but always have it upright like that, in my opinion, my humble opinion. I hope that is what you were after, Serkan. the next pipe that I revisited tonight was a pipe I did a while back. Another pipe that I've been eyeing up to smoke myself. But there was a couple of things on it which I wasn't happy with, which would have led me to give it an X. And I didn't want to because it was an easy fix. And I just never got around to it and decided tonight that I'm just going to do it. And here it is. Good evening, Jordan. So this is a nice apple. Some nice green on the shank there. Now I've kind of given it a dual tone stain, so darker and then a little bit lighter up there. So a couple of things that I did to the pipe, and I've actually done this on a couple of pipes now. Over here, this actually was smooth up till about there because it had some nice grain, some nice bird's eye, and I wanted to highlight that. But it just made the pipe unbalanced, because if you're going to rusticate, you kind of need to have some clear lines, and this one was kind of a bit wavy and it just didn't look right. So I decided to rusticate it, even though it had some nice grain there. And I was trying to keep this line nice and straight, and it just looks so much better. It looks so much more balanced. And the second thing which I wanted to do was, over here there was a very slight depression in the top edge of the shank. So when you put the stem on, you could see a very slight depression. So it wasn't 100% flush, and it would have meant resanding it and restaining it and doing everything, and I just couldn't be bothered. So it just sat on my shelf, and tonight I decided to stop being a lazy git and do it. So that's what I did. I sanded the whole pipe, I rusticated this whole section here, sanded this, sanded all of that, and it's essentially it's as good as new now, and it will earn its star. It has earned its star. It's beautifully drilled, and there we go. The pickaxe pipe is actually in the garage, and it's perfectly smokable now. I've sorted that one out as well, and I've put a really good bowl coating in there, so it's all nice and smooth internally, and all you see now is the drill, is the draft hole. But that's definitely an X, despite the beauty of the pipe, which is, you know, I'd still be happy to sell that pipe if anybody wanted it, but it would have to be an X, unfortunately. I couldn't be dishonest and hide the fact that there are issues beneath the coating. As I've mentioned quite a few times now, Meeks, all of my pipes can be sold as 9mm or non-9mm. So here's an example. They're all drilled to accept both. Now, where is that pipe? Alright, so essentially, these are actually slightly different to the ones I had before. So basically, this is what will happen. That will go on the end of the 9mm thing, and it will get glued in, and that's it. You have a non-9mm pipe. It's countersunk, and it should work really, really well. Fits perfectly. And there you go. It matches up. It'll meet up with the end of the mortise really well, and that's basically what I'm doing at the moment. I'm offering them as 9mm or non-9mm. Converting a pipe to 9mm, really, it depends on the pipe. So essentially, if I've got a pipe which has been sitting in my drawer, which I purchased a while back. It's a Millville, an original Millville pipe, Millville was a guy here in London who used to carve pipes, and his pipes, the original Millville pipes, have become quite sought after. And I just wanted to get one for the history's sake of it, and I managed to get one, but it's not 9mm. Hey Mike, how you doing? In the beginning, when I first started smoking 9mm pipes, before I was making my own pipes, I sent mine out for conversion. So I sent some to Ian Walker at Northern Briars, and I sent some to Moretti Pipes. He did a few for me. But the ones that I tend to do myself, this is one I did myself, I converted myself. I tend to do ones where the shank is bigger than the stem. So that way, all you really need to do is just increase the size to, steadily increase, with small increments, the size of the mortise. But when it comes to the stem, this one I did myself. But you could use the original stem. You can lop off the tenon, and you drill for a 9mm cone, glue it in, and then that should be fine. The reason why I only do ones with a wider shank is because it's really, really hard to make sure that you get this cone drilled dead center on an existing stem. Unless you've got some kind of really precise machinery, which I don't have, it's very hard to get it dead center. That's why I don't tend to do them where the two ends. So a pipe like this, I wouldn't do it, because in order to be able to get that precise meetup would be hard. I mean, if I did it and it was slightly off, I could resand it and all of that, but I just don't like messing around with that. Having said that, the Millville one, I'm keeping it in my drawer because I know that one day I want to have a crack at it and do it myself, but we shall see. I mean, I've got an idea of getting some jaws made to go in my lathe, which will hold stems and get things dead center, but I've got to find a machinist. That's basically it. I've got to find a company that can do machining for me. There's a few things I would like to get done. See, I could solve all the problems that I'm having with sorting out a motor for my sanding wheel. There's no shortage of motors here in the UK. There's thousands of different models, but I've got no way, at this moment in time, I've got no way of attaching an arbor which will take a drill chuck so that I can attach the sanding discs that I use. There are ways and means, but the easiest thing, the arbors that I get from the States, for instance, you can get from grizzly.com. You can get an arbor and drill chuck all in one piece, but they don't fit any of the UK shafts which are on the motors. So I was gifted very, very kindly, I was gifted very generously, I was gifted the motor and the chuck, but I can't get it fired up here, that's the problem. Hey OCD, how you doing? Still no Prince, Mike? I'm actually smoking some Latakia tonight. I haven't smoked Northwoods for a long time, and I am smoking some tonight. And it's been really nice, coming to the end of the bowl now. Still waiting for customs. Oh, it's already arrived. Well, it's at customs, you say. What's taking them so long? So hopefully, have you got a holiday? We've got a holiday this Monday. We've got a bank holiday. So, be spending time out with the kids. No word on mine yet, that's a shame. I should actually look up the tracking. Do you want me to look at that now? Let me see if I can find the paper. The problem when you're sending packages is you've got to look through a whole bunch of different receipts. I don't have a filing system per se. Hey Kevin. I'll only be able to really look at it quickly if I know your postcode. Hang on. Mike, just email me if you don't mind, because that's going to be the quickest way. If you can email me your postcode, then I can check it out quicker. A6, the last 3 digits. Okay. Right, well, it's not that receipt. Actually, it might still be in my wallet. No, that's Carl. I could probably chuck that, Carl. You got yours, didn't you? 14th of April. Yeah, that's old. Not that one. Sorry, everybody. Just bear with. Jovan. It's not that one. A6. No, not that one. I'll look at a couple more, then if not, I'll have to take some time a bit later on and to have a look. Wildcat. God, that must be old. When is this from? January. We're going back a while. No, I can't see it. I've looked through about 20 receipts. I don't know where it is. I'll have to look through again, see where it is. Sorry, Mike. Okay. If anybody's interested, I've actually posted a video on BRTV. I haven't done one for so long. I feel very guilty about it. And Mike Gamecock Piper, I did an impressions of your fragrant, matured cake 2000 from McClelland. So I was looking for a nice aromatic, something with a really nice warming vanilla flavour. Meerschaum, I've only got one Meerschaum at the moment. A package sent from Ian on the 14th of April. That's a long time. OCD, you're in Canada as well, aren't you? I'm not a big maple flavour kind of guy. This is the only Meerschaum that I've got Serkan. This is Pipe of the Year, Pipe Club of London from 2018. And this is the logo of the Pipe Club of London. You see their PCOL. They did an awesome job with this. It got a little bit of colour, but I don't smoke it often enough to really get some colour going on it. Maybe we'll do that in a minute. I'll leave it out. I have tried Autumn Evening. It's just not, I don't really like it. It is quite strong. I mean, I do have some somewhere. Vanilla flake, okay. Doesn't burn the best. Yeah, Paul, definitely go for it. You should come down to the meetings once we get going again. Oh, you're talking about the pipe, Kevin. I thought you meant the tobacco. Yeah, I agree with you, Jordan, on that. The Autumn Evening is a little bit pungent. It's a little the maple sweetness is a little bit over the top. Paul, I can tell you that £25 is a steal for an annual registration, and you get the quarterly leaflets as well that come through the updates, which you get in the post. And anybody around the world can join for £25 or even less, I think. You can join the Pipe Club of London, and I would heartily recommend it, guys. Daniel, I have made tampers before. I must be honest, but I haven't really done any recently, because it just takes too much time. I'd rather be making a pipe. Cheers, Mike. See you later. That's the honest truth. And if I'm going to be cavalier about it, there's not much money to be made from a tamper. But if I was to do a limited edition, it would make sense. It's a good idea, Daniel. I might just have to do that once in a while, do a limited edition. What I really ought to do is when I get perhaps to 150 pipes, maybe I'll do a range of limited edition pipes rather than just the 150th pipe. Maybe I'll do, say, 15 pipes the same, a bit like what Mike did for Briar Blues Pipe of the Year, but maybe I'll do 15 pipes, one for each 10 that I've done, something like that. I wouldn't want to overstretch myself and take unlimited amount of orders because I just couldn't cope with it. I don't have enough time for that. Hey Steph, how you doing? Skip. But I think that might be an idea. Is just to do maybe even 5 pipes the first time because I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overstretch it. So maybe that would be quite nice to do some of those chubby Rhodesians. So the one that I showed you before and I've got one which was slightly cheaper, which didn't have the silver and it didn't have the fancy ring. So these are the two most recent of the chubby Rhodesians. So this one is a little bit, I mean, it's equally nice, but it doesn't have the silver, and it's got just a regular sort of Rhodesian top with obviously a very wide ring. This one's got double ring and it's got this little ledge here. So maybe I could do a brace of these. That would be a nice idea. Yeah, that's an idea, Daniel. Could build up to that. Yeah. But right now, presently, the way things are going with photography, I think I want to sell any pipes that I'm making at the moment. I did actually get an inquiry to do a wedding in a couple of weeks' time, and they're still waiting on an answer from me. And strictly speaking, at the moment, it's illegal. So they're doing it kind of in a very sort of quiet way. They've rented some venue in the countryside somewhere, and it's a secret venue. Usually they would have had a couple of hundred people at the wedding. They're only having 30 people at the wedding, but I haven't decided. I've discussed it with my wife and my family, and my older kids don't seem to think it's too much of a risk, but my wife is not terribly happy about it. But for me, it's just against the law. At the moment, it's against the law. So I'm really, really hoping that in between time there'll be some kind of announcement easing things a little bit more. There's definitely been talk about it happening in the future, but so far it hasn't been opened up, so I'm not sure. I'm just going to look and see what kind of tobacco I fancy behind me. Well, I'll take you guys with me. So, we've got some Dark Fragrance by Rattrays. Ooh, some Balkan Blue in the background there. Bit of Hunter's Choice, that's an aromatic actually. Some McLaren's Red Cake. Chocolate Cream from Boswell's. What's in that one? I don't remember what's in that one. This is some Brown Sugar Flake. Samuel Goeth. I don't know what's in that one. I think that's actually from Mike's. These are actually from Mike's. Ooh, let's grab some of that. Now, if I remember correctly, there was some really seriously aged tobacco in here. In one of Mike's mystery challenges. Oh, that smells good. I don't remember what this is. This smells like Oh, this smells like. Why haven't I got a label on there? I don't know. It's got a nice fruity aroma. So this one is B, and that one is C, and that's probably A. Mike, which one was the older one? B or C? Do you remember? This is Navy Rolls, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it a Scudo? I think it was Navy Rolls. Mike, let's see what your memory's like, your grey cells. This one has got literally just one coin left. I'm imagining this is the older one. They may not be old, they may just be different brands. I don't remember. They look really similar. I'm the same, Mike. I can remember 6 months ago better than I can remember yesterday, to be honest. Oh, I see. Right, okay, fair enough. I'm not going to mix them because that would be sacrilegious. There you go, Dan, you read my mind. I'm not going to do that. That would be wrong, I think, on all levels. No, there's no difference, Mike. I just did that. They look exactly the same. The same level of density, the same level of sort of chocolate brownie kind of look. So I don't think, especially over the camera, I don't think it's going to help at all. Interesting, this one opens with the tenon in the bowl. The thing I find with these is that they tend to be really beautiful meerschaums, but they just don't give as much attention to the stems, which for me is a big shame. The mouthpiece is just really large and not the most comfortable in the world, but still, we'll give it a go. Hey David, thank you for joining. Don't remember the last time you came on one of my live sessions. David is one of my long-time communicators on Instagram. He always puts up great pictures every day on Instagram with his pipe smoking setup for the day, with his whiskey. Having said that, it's a good hanger, this one. I should really try and make those kind of hanging pipes. You know, ones with a proper, real full bend. So the issue for me would be getting that when you're on the lathe, if the shank is smaller than the bowl, then you can't turn. I mean, depending on the angle, sometimes you can get just a little bit at the beginning, and it's just enough. Otherwise, you've got to turn it by hand, which is doable, but it's just more challenging. In the beginning, this is what I've got at the moment of London fog. I dipped into it the other day, but obviously the supplies of Virginia woods are limited, so I don't smoke it that much. I'm quite happy to let it age. $100, wow. That's heavy going, Chad. I can't answer that, Daniel, because I haven't made either. So I honestly don't know. I guess the challenge with an Ungpol is getting the drill right. Don't worry about it, Mike. Don't start me on that. I did a video the other day, and literally within a minute there was already a thumbs down. And Vlad the Inhaler, I don't know if you guys follow his channel. Mystic Simba, how you doing? He was just incredulous. He said, this video has been up for a minute. who's already thumbs downing it, and why is it thumbs down? There was no content there which was controversial. But we all know we have our trolls, our saddos, got nothing better to do than to troll people. And as I've always said, the people who are trolling, you know, if somebody thumbs downs because I say something controversial, fair enough. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. But people who thumbs down just for the sake of it, I believe that's just a reflection of their own sad existence. People who thumbs down and feel they're unhappy with their own existence, so they need to make somebody else's life unhappy as well. You could turn it off, but I just don't even look at it, you know? Unless somebody points it out, I just don't look at it. This is the Pipe Club of London from 2018 pipe. Exactly, Steph, or Skip, whoever one it is. Both of you, how are you doing, both of you? You don't turn yours on or off, Chad. Yeah, it's open to members, but you have to order it in advance. Once it's processed, once it's done, that's it. You can't buy it anymore because it's done in a limited run. So the last one was the 50th anniversary, so it was a very special pipe. I think I've showed it to you guys. Let's see if I've got it here. So this one is the 50th anniversary, and because 50 is a gold anniversary, they stuck a bit of gold on it as well. This is a Mastro de Paya, 50th anniversary. I haven't smoked it. So this little badge, which is the PCOL emblem, is gold. This is silver, and you can see there it's got PCOL, and it says 50th anniversary 1970 to 2020, and it says Unica, made in Italy, Mastro de Paya. And this one is a 9mm version. It's quite a hefty pipe, and it's got like an interesting shape. It's kind of an oblong, like almost Canadian. It's an oval sort of shank, but with slightly faceted sides. So you can see the faceting there, slightly straight, slightly panelled, but the bowl is an apple. It's a nice pipe. Yeah, this one is my latest pipe from Northern Briars. This is a Lovat, which I ordered. And I'm slowly going to be building up a 7-day set of these, all in different shapes, but with the same colouring, same stem, same band. And the next one is going to be the same, but I'm actually going to ask him to give me a smooth top, just to make it slightly different. And this one is actually perfectly drilled as well. I must say, the Mastro de Paya pipes, I've had a fair few over the few years. Some have been okay, some not so good. But I have to say, the recent pipes, I've got a few unsmoked Mastretta Payas, and they're all drilled absolutely superbly. This is one I bought from him when he came to visit the club. So Paul, that's just a good reason to join, because every so often we do get some really cool guests. We had the people that made the Sheraton tobacco when Dunhill stopped. They came and gave us all samples, which was very cool. This is one which I bought when he came to visit, which I still haven't smoked. Gorgeous pipe. I love the way they do this. I don't know how they do these sort of lines. Yes, you get a pin badge as well, Paul. You can prove that you're a member. $9 mil. And the drill is absolutely at the nadir of the bowl. Spot on. And the other third one is actually a Pipe Club of London pipe from but this one was before I was smoking 9 mils, so it hasn't got smoked either. I suppose one day I could get it converted. This one is stunning. It's the same kind of shape as the other one, but it's just gorgeous. Look at that beautiful sandblast. Faceted pipe, amazing ring grain, smooth top. This is PCOL. Oh, was it 2016 this one? No, 2017. All the best, Steph and Skip. So this one is not 9 mil, which is a shame. I guess I could get it converted, but it would have to be so spot on because of the silver band. You can't sand that afterwards. Can I do a gore with that? I don't think so, you know? I love you and all that, but I don't think so. You know what I'm saying? All the best though, CD. Have a good one. Actually, maybe on 150 I will do a gore. I haven't done a gore in a long time. So maybe I'll do a gore for one of my pipes. So maybe do the 150th pipe. Good evening, Christopher, England. And maybe we do a go on the 150th and do a run of celebratory pipes, limited edition pipes possibly. You don't see white stems that much, I think, because it's just my personal opinion, but I think that it's because once the draft hole in the stem starts to get tobacco-y and browny, you get an ugly line going down the pipe internally, because most of them are slightly translucent, so you do get to see that bit of a line going down them. That's just me, but I think people are just a little bit traditional, so white is just a little bit out there. Maybe that's the reason. It's why the same reason why a lot of people don't get a white car. You don't see white cars that much. White cars get dirty. They look dirty, put it that way. All cars get dirty, but white cars look dirtier than other cars. What have I done here? Something is not quite right. That's in the wrong box, but never mind. But I sold my Northern Briars 60th anniversary pipes. Can you believe that? And I finally sold that Soren Refberg faceted pipe that I bought in Switzerland. I sold 2 of my Stanwell pipes as well. All of them went to a collector in America. Yeah, dress pipes. My feeling on dress pipes, and I may be being a bit cynical, but my feeling on dress pipes is that they are made to hide flaws under the nice shiny polish. Which ones, Paul? Are you talking about the Mastro de Paya Magnums? Yeah, that's tough, Carl. But the guy basically, it was a deal that I couldn't refuse. The way things are at the moment, if you remember, it may have been before your times, Carl, when my daughter got married a couple of years ago. I sold off some of my collectible cigars. I wouldn't say that I regretted it because it served the purpose at the time. It helped me finance my daughter's wedding. But I know that with more time, they would have been more valuable. But you just got to do what you got to do. There's no point regretting it. Sometimes if it's got a purpose, then that purpose lives on. I was able to finance my daughter's wedding partly from those cigars. So they had a purpose, and that lives on in my daughter's marriage. It might be a bit of a silly way to look at it, but anything in life that you do with a good purpose, that lives on in the result of your efforts that you sold them for. Absolutely, Grobnob. How are you doing? Mortar pipes, David, are a bit of a... You have to be really careful with mortar pipes. I'm not sure that honey is a good idea on mortar pipes, because mortar pipes are really very absorbent, and the honey may prevent that. But the truth of the matter is it breaks down and it caramelizes and becomes carbon anyway. But you do have to be very careful. If it's an exceptionally light pipe, then you really want to get a coating on there, ideally. Is it because some mortar is quite dense and heavy, and some is really, really light? Is yours really heavy or light for its size? Oh, the Boswells. Oh, no. Those Boswells, they're fantastic, but too big for me. It's very light. I would strongly encourage you to send that to a pipe maker and get a bowl coating put inside it. It's actually very easy to make a bowl coating. Very, very easy indeed. If you go online, you go onto eBay, and get some carbon, some food grade carbon. I've got a huge bag of it outside, but I've got a little... You just got to be careful because the powder goes everywhere. It's like when you open up a photocopying drum, you don't want it getting anywhere. So wear gloves, but you get this, it's like snuff almost, very, very fine powder. And you just need a little bit, half a teaspoon. And you can mix it with some natural yogurt or some sort of a soft cream cheese. But you only need a drop, enough to just make a paste out of it. You mix it up with a spoon or something like that. Once it goes into a paste form, just use a pipe cleaner, dip it in and just dab it on, and just make sure you've got a decent coating around the whole pipe, down the bottom as well. When you do it, take your pipe cleaner and put it into the pipe, and it should poke through the bottom of the bowl so that you don't clog up the draft. So just put your pipe cleaner in and just have it peek through the bottom there like that, and then do your coating, and when it's dry, take it out, and what you'll be left with is something like this. There you see that beige area at the bottom, it's just the bottom of the draft hole. Yeah, Daniel, Mike definitely gave me a heads up on that pipe. I was interested, but it's I would have to send it away to get it done, and it's just too much hassle. So I passed on that one. But as I said to Mike, if he comes across one which has got a like an army mount kind of idea, in other words, that you just push into the shank, and the shank is wider, like I showed you earlier on with the Duncan briars. So one of those where you've got a freehand kind of flared shank, and that I would be interested in, because that I can do myself quite easily. North Country, how you doing? So these two pipes are available. That one there. These are the two pipes that I revisited tonight. Amongst the others that are available, that's available too. Yeah, so can it's true. The Meerschaum pipe will give you a cool smoke. My issue with the Meerschaum pipe is that because this one is 9mm, so it's got everything going against the flavour of this pipe, because the Meerschaum, I find, tends to clean the flavour profile. It kind of narrows the edges of the flavour profile. Plus it's got a 9mm filter, so for me it's not allowing much flavour through. I tended to use this for stronger blends. I remember I used to smoke this with Vintage Syrian, HH Vintage Syrian, because I found that just a little bit too rich, and smoking in this just tempered it down a little bit to make it more palatable. No, I must be honest, David, I prefer a briar pipe as well. I'm definitely a briar man. No, I've still got that one. There it is. The red stems. Which one is that, Carl? Have you got a red stem pipe of mine? It's probably just a really hard, the fiery orangey reddy ones. Yeah, it's just the. Yeah, I know you've got two pipes, but I just wasn't sure which ones with the colour. I didn't recall you having a red stem. They're probably just a harder acrylic. Acrylic definitely withstands wear much better than ebonite, no question about it. Ebonite tends to be softer though, so some people prefer it. Yeah, the stems that I use are really good quality. Well, most of the ones that I use are pressed. I just fine tune them and make them the way I like them to be finished. But making them from scratch definitely is tricky and takes a lot of practice. Well, the softy bits, yeah. I mean, when I first started, I used softy bits on every pipe, but I can't be doing with them. It's to me it's a little. There's a few issues here. Number one, there's too much going on, so you end up with. Imagine having something double the thickness of that in your mouth the whole time. So your jaw is askew the whole time. So you're putting more tension on your jaw joint the whole time. So what you'll find is that one side of your mouth is more open than the other side, and eventually I find that it's just uncomfortable. Number two, just chomping down on that rubber, it's just I just don't like it. You don't get the unique experience of every single pipe having its own shape. And especially if you're buying an artisan pipe where the artisan carver has made the stem from scratch, all of that work has gone to pot because he's put so much work in to make it comfortable, and you've put a combine harvester over it, and that's just. So to me, it's a complete waste of that man's talent or woman's talent by sticking a softy bit over it. In the beginning, I think I used softy bits to protect the stems because I wasn't sure if I was going to keep it or if eventually I'm going to sell it, that kind of thing. But now, because I can polish them up again, I'm not too worried about that. But if you're getting an artisan pipe, I think it's a little bit sacrilegious to put a softy bit over it. Yeah, that could be true as well, David. For a while, I actually used, the cable, the heat shrink stuff. I did that on a few of my pipes. It actually worked very, very well. I'm trying to see if I've got a scrap of it here. I kept some in my drawer. Here you go. So for a while, I used this. You cut a little piece off, you stick it over there, and you just put a blow dryer on it or something like that, even a lighter, if you do it carefully. And the thing is, it heat shrinks all the way around tight, and it's good for a long time. But that also will also keep the bacteria. Your saliva gets under there. So I just stick with Au Naturel. If you want to protect your stems and you want to put something over it, I would certainly go with the heat shrink before I go with the softy bits. The heat shrink essentially gives you the full shape of the bit. The size heat shrink, you got to get whatever matches your stem. You can buy lots of different sizes. When I bought them, I bought a whole range because you don't want it to be too big because then it won't shrink right. Too small, it won't go over the bit. So you have to just get you just get a variety of sizes and you put over the one which works best. Who uses vinyl tubing? Smoking Grandpa Bones. He uses vinyl tubing, I think, and I think also Briarblade Ladon. The vinyl tubing is going to be a lot cheaper. The softy bits are made specifically for the purpose, so you're going to pay a bit more. I'm not sure, Sir Khan. I'll have to look it up. I don't know. Maybe it's in the case somewhere. No, I can't remember his name, if I'm honest. Leather wrapped pipes? No, I've never had one. I don't know anything about them, Daniel. Mike might be able to answer that for you. Gamecock Piper or Mike Briar Blues. And who definitely could answer that would be Eric, Blue Collar Pipe Smoker, and Ben. Ben Codger, what's his name? Can't remember. They're not a cover, they're actually briar pipes. They're usually unfinished, and they've got a artful codger. Yeah, thanks, Josh. But basically, they've got if you imagine a steering wheel, leather covered steering wheel, with that stitching on the inside, it's exactly done the same way. So you'll see a line of stitching going down and up there like that. Up to, sometimes it's on that side, but it's usually there down the middle. Cleaning the leather, well, it shouldn't really get dirty, but if they are dirty, then I guess you treat it like any leather. I suppose they'll get a little bit oil from your hands if you're holding them a lot, but they shouldn't really. I'm thinking that this tobacco, Mike, if you're still there, Briar Blues, I think this may well be a Scudo. Spit and polish, exactly. This may well be a Scudo because it does taste a little bit brash, as a Scudo does to my palate compared to Navy rolls. But we'll pop them back in there for another day. Alright people, it's just gone 2 a.m, so I'm going to wish you all well, and thank you all for joining me. A very nice, enjoyable chat. Thank you Paul, thank you Daniel, thank you Josh, thank you Boris, thank you North Country Fish, thank you Carl, thank you David Mercury, thank you... Well, Sirkan, thank you for joining, it's been a pleasure, thank you for joining. I don't think you've been on before, at least you haven't spoken to us, so thank you for that. Thank you Jimmy Tabaki, thank you Rocking Steady. I think that's it. OCD, if you're still there, I think you went. Christopher England, Steak Simba. All of you, you're all great. Chad, Yardism, thank you. And if you are actually serious about doing those things, I'd be more than happy to join. And so I'm going to wish you all a very good morning. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and I will catch you on the very next one. I look forward to your video, Carl. Tomorrow, is it? Night night. Morning.